Douglas Kennedy, an amazing and a chilling report here. Thanks for being with us, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
One of the things that really is disturbing is that a lot of these drugs, antidepressants in particular, have not been tested specifically on children. You went into...
Yeah, terrible that we're giving these drugs to kids and they're not being tested on kids. And you know, in these clinical trials, if they were tested on kids, it would be much worse than the results they get from adults. And the results that they're getting from adults are bad enough.
But your report says these antidepressants are actually a cause and an increase of suicide among young people. And it raises the questions, how do we know that these people aren't committing suicide because they're depressed?
That is a great question, and it's why people say when the school shooters happen, well, they might have done that without the drugs, or that's why they're on the drugs. But we know from these clinical trials that the drugs actually cause the suicide and cause the violence. They give people placebos and they give people the drugs, and the people who are taking the drugs, this is going to blow your mind, the people who are taking the drugs actually get more suicidal and commit more violent acts than the people in the clinical trials who are given placebo.
Well, it raises the question, number one, why are these kids being prescribed these drugs, and how do we survive all these years, Douglas, when you think about it, when these drugs weren't available? I've heard of instances where kids are literally lighting up for Ritalin.
This is where you're going to be a hero in 10 years, because this comes down to values. We are no longer valuing our inner emotional lives. We no longer value our individualism. You know, that's what this country was founded on. And so you get a kid that can't pay attention. You and I couldn't pay attention.
Way worse than you.
Okay.
I still can't pay attention.
Exactly. Well, you know, you got 28 kids in the class. The teacher can't deal with, one kid who can't. I'm not going to pay attention to him. Instead of sending him to the principal's office, we put him on drugs.
You know what you're describing? You're describing a chemical babysitter. That's what you're describing here.
It's really a way so we don't have to pay attention to the neediness and the darkness and all the sadness that in the end might even make these kids great kids if they can hang in there.
Last question, because the question is, we want to help these kids if they're sad, if they're depressed, if they're anxiety ridden. But we're not exploring natural ways to get to the root causes of these problems. What are the solutions? The other solutions?
I mean, to me, it really comes down to, these kids are crying out for attention. Their inner lives need attention. And what we say to them with these drugs is, shut up. I don't want to pay attention to you.
The symptoms.
You don't pay attention to yourself. We won't pay attention to you. And in the end, it has horrific results.
I hope parents are listening. And I know this is hard-hitting for parents, particularly that have made the difficult decision that they think their kids need these drugs, but there are alternative answers and solutions out there.
And we have to say that you should never take anybody off these drugs quickly.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
That's when it creates the real hard problems.
But do it with medical supervision.
Do it with medical supervision. But, it takes some time, sitting with your kids at the dinner table, spending some time with them, which is, it's hard to do.
Douglas Kennedy, a powerful report. Thanks for being with us on Kennedy America. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks very much.